Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here. Today we're going to be talking about LIBERO CINDERACE and the best sets that we have available in early Pokemon Sword and Shield. I did a moveset video guide and I did talk about this Pokemon in general. I did. And I said when it only had Blaze, when it gets its LIBERO ability, we could use that too. But decided to make an updated guide. I have with me my boy Finchinator. He can say hi.
Hey guys, what's good?
He is a very competitive player, and if you guys subscribe to his channel, you will not be disappointed. Lots of competitive content, smoke on tournaments, as well as just road top 10 and just laddering in general. Just a lot of good stuff. So I do encourage you guys to check him out. As well as that, I've relaunched the OG Drop a Draco merch in purple foil, and 100% of the proceeds will be going towards Black Lives Matter. Now, if you actually don't want to buy a shirt, but you want to directly donate, the link is down below as well. But like I said, 100% of this will be going towards the Black Lives Matter, and it's available until the 12th. So, Cinderace. What are your initial thoughts on Cinderace before we get into the first set?
So, Cinderace, before it got LIBERO, was a pretty good Pokemon, but with LIBERO, it's one of the best Pokemon in the tier. It's a very versatile and threatening breaker on the physically offensive side, and it can kind of mitigate the fragile nature of it due to being able to change types if it's playing it well. So, just great coverage coupled with great ability makes it really threatening right now.
I agree. I think its speed tier is like the biggest thing that goes for it too, because it
I
can get
couldn't
away.
agree more.
Yeah, it can get away with going Adamant or Jolly, which is a big thing. And then it has obviously priority and Sucker Punch and things like that. You really I feel like people underestimated Sucker Punch.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, like some Blaze sets used it because Power Ball and Sucker Punch knocked out Dragapult, but now the fact that it gets stab on it is crazy. So do you want to cover
you don't even need Chip to take out Dragapult.
Exactly. It's insane. Do you want to cover the first set we have there?
Yeah, so it's just the bulk up, Pyro Balls, and Headbutt /
Yep, the Life Orb / Heavy Duty Boots, yeah. Just make sure you mention everything. It's all going to be on the screen, but just, you never know who'll be watching.
So with Cinderace's new ability, LIBERO, it basically functions like Protein Greninja, so you change types. So for example, let's say you get in and use bulk up, and all of a sudden they bring in their, Hippowdon or their physical wall like Toxapex. You can go for bulk up, so you're not going to get killed by your Earthquake immediately. And then you could do boosted damage with stab. So Zen Headbutt could really do a ton of damage to Toxapex, especially with Life Orb at +1 and Adamant. It can potentially even kill it after Stealth Rock, which is huge. On top of that, boosted moves like High Jump Kick do a ton. And at +1 or even at +0, if you get a good roll, you're able to kill even the HP invested Dragon Dance Dragapult with Sucker Punch, which is just huge. And honestly, all things considered, it makes Cinderace a really versatile offensive force. The amount of checks and counters to it went to a lot of mainstream physical walls like Toxapex and Hippowdon to really only circumstantial stuff.
Yeah.
You could still potentially keep it in check, but there's nothing that really hard counters it anymore. And that makes it just really fun to use in my eyes and makes it a great piece on offensive teams.
Yeah, it's an incredible Pokemon. Like Finch was saying, the first set can function with Life Orb or Heavy Duty Boots. Heavy Duty Boots will allow you to, of course, ignore hazards like Stealth Rock and Sticky Web. But Life Orb just gives you that added oomph. And we've actually slashed both Jolly or Adamant. Adamant is incredibly powerful, and after a bulk up, the rolls on Toxapex are insane. You could do I think you do 98% max, so like rocks. You just definitely knock out max defense, max HP Toxapex. And of course, Zen Headbutt lets you hit stuff like Como too. And we did slash that with High Jump Kick. While High Jump Kick's very good, hitting some of your best answers in both Toxapex and Como makes a lot of sense. And Sucker Punch just gives you that priority to, like you said, get rid of the faster threats. Personally, I don't think either or is bad. Jolly allows you to avoid some of those mind games versus the others. Like, you can High Jump Kick raw into someone going for Sucker Punch or something. You should be able to live depending, but it's just a really strong Pokemon. The second set we have is just straight up 4 attacks, no bulk up, with Heavy Duty Boots. And this set here is the only one that I feel can still run Court Change. Court Change previously, before Cinderace got LIBERO, was the main reason to use it besides Pyro Ball and U-Turn.
Yep.
But now it's like, why would I want to use this when I can use some sort of offensive pressure? But if you do want to use Court Change to, of course, change the hazards to your opponent's side of the field, definitely a Jolly Cinderace, and I think U-Turn, Pyro Ball are always a given. U-Turn becomes Stab on Cinderace itself, whereas Power Ball is obviously your Fire Stab anyway. And then your third move can either be High Jump Kick, which will allow you to hit Pokemon like Tyranitar, Terrakion for a KO, or Court Change, which of course will allow you to get rid of those hazards and put them on your opponent's side of the field or swap the hazards. But keep in mind that you do become a normal type when you do that. Not just it's actually really funny for playing some mind games on Aegislash, I think, too. Like the Shadow Ball scenario, if they're trying to come in on you, if they think you're choice in some sort of way. But they should see the heavy-duty boots. But do keep in mind that you're changing your typings every single time you use an attack. So for the scenario of bulk up, don't try and bulk up in front of a Clefable. You will be a fighting type, and it will Moonblast you. And then your last move is Sucker Punch. I feel like with Pyro Ball and Sucker Punch, it's just incredible just because Dragapult doesn't matter. It's one of the few Pokemon that's actually faster than Cinderace in this metagame. And just being able to deal with that makes a lot of sense. You can cover the Choice Band and Life Orb set, bro. Oh, I think you cut out for a second.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I cut out for 30 seconds there. My bad.
That's all good.
Where were we?
You can cover the Choice Band and Life Orb set.
Okay, so yeah, my bad. But as Joey said, the heavy-duty boot set with 4 attacks or core change is great, but also a more threatening option would be a potential set with Choice Band or Life Orb. And this, of course, runs 4 attacks as well, and it could just abuse Libero to the fullest extent possible. U-Turn, for example, does a ton even to resists. For example, let's say you lead your Cinderace and you're facing a hyper-offensive team with Excadrill. Despite the resistance, U-Turn could do over 40%, which is just absurd. And then, of course, Pyro Ball and Zen Headbutt are just killing things left and right. Pyro Ball into something like Specially Defensive Clefable could do north of 70%, and Zen Headbutt could kill Specially Defensive Toxapex after Rocks and Spikes, or just easily to a KO Physically Defensive variant. So overall, it's great. And High Jump Kick is just the strongest move that you could use against things like Rotom Heat and Hippowdon for neutral damage, which is great. And Sucker Punch, you can get the kill on things like Dragapult, and just any faster threat, like even opposing Cinderace, for example. Let's say they kill something with Zen Headbutt, like a Toxapex, and you could come in and revenge kill it with Sucker Punch with ease. And Life Orb is great if you want to switch moves too.
Yeah, it's a really threatening Pokemon. Like I think a lot of people sleep on it, especially because like Mandibuzz doesn't always run the most physically defensive. Like that mon, while it before was just shy of being 2-hit KO'd by a heavy duty boots version of Pyro Ball, now Life Orb or Choice Band is just guaranteed 2-hit KO. But even on top of that, moves like High Jump Kick becoming Stab do so much to Mandibuzz in itself, because High Jump Kick is just barely stronger than Pyro Ball, but it's strong enough to the point that it does 2-hit KO the standard Mandibuzzes that are running around right now. And again, having that Sucker Punch, we mentioned Dragapult, but it does like, what is it, 50% close to about Zero Aura, around that range.
Oh yeah, so if you get some chip on it with like a couple Scalds or a knockoff or a Moonblast, then it's going to be in range just later on in the game more often than not.
Exactly. And my last set, I want to give a big shout out to Zero for passing me this, and I've been using it a lot on the ladder. It's Acrobatics No Item Cinderace. Now I had to tell Finch about this set, but the cool thing about Acrobatics is that it is 110 base power with no item. That's before Stab. And it becomes Stab, obviously, because of your Libero ability. And this move allows you to 100% KO Conkeldurr. It does like 60 to 77% to physically defensive Como. And I think the cool thing about it is it's a good neutral move, right? Like High Jump Kick is an okay neutral move, but because of the abundance of ghost types in the tier, you go for it, you miss, you take damage, right? Whereas Acrobatics is almost always spammable. Even on Pokemon like Pelipper coming in, they get 2-hit KO'd. The other cool thing is it allows you to avoid Earthquake. So in the scenario that your opponent has a Powdon, you have Cinderace, and they're like the 1v1 scenario, you avoid the Earthquake because of Acrobatics. This also allows you to avoid Earthquake from Excadrill. It also allows you to avoid Earthquake, and you resist Body Press from Como when you become that flying type. U-Turn, of course, gives you the momentum. Sucker Punch is great. We're going to go Adamant just for the added damage on that. And then Pyro Ball is your stab of choice. I think a lot of what Cinderace can do, and you can feel free to say if you disagree or agree, I feel like a lot of what Cinderace can do is really up to the user and the team. Like,
yes.
Yeah, if you feel comfortable versus Pex, you don't necessarily have to run Zen Headbutt, especially if you're like spike stacking. But I don't know if you want to elaborate a little bit more on that.
So one thing that I think is great about Cinderace, and it kind of is the Protein Greninja effect, if you will, especially people who have played Generation 6 and 7, is that the versatility that the ability grants it lets it kind of mold onto your team as you wish. So let's say you have something to take advantage of Toxapex, like Reuniclus, or a Clefable with Calm Mind, Life Orb, and an Electric move, or a Specs Ghost type like Aegislash or Dragapult, or even a Nasty Pot Hydreigon. There are countless examples, because Toxapex is a great Pokemon, but there are ways to break through it, of course. then all of a sudden, all you need is U-turn to just pivot into it and take advantage of that momentum, and you're still making progress without needing to have Zen Headbutt. So that's great. It really makes it so that Cinderace isn't a limited Pokemon. It's versatile, and there's very little downside to not running something like Zen Headbutt in those matchups if you pair it with the right teams. So I think that makes Cinderace one of the best Pokemon in the metagame, and it doesn't necessarily make it broken, but it makes it a great kind of catalyst for specific cores and getting the right Pokemon in against the opposing walls.
Yeah, like you mentioned about the Greninja effect, I just specifically remember Greninja being out, and if it's a male Greninja, you have no way of knowing if it's Battle Bond or Protean turn one at all, right? The only thing that would give away
Yep.
if it's not Battle Bond is a female, because Battle Bond Greninja can never be female. So that's why all Greninjas should have been male, and just like that's the same thing. Like when they go for bulk up, this is something that's crazy too, because I've seen bulk up, high jump kick, Zen headbutt, sucker punch, and I've seen gunk shot as well. Gunk shot is another thing you
Yeah.
could probably add. I think that when Azumarill comes back and Tapu Fini, well, Azumarill comes back with a DLC, but when Tapu
Yeah.
Fini comes back with the second DLC, you might, if Cinderace is still around, you might have a case for gunk shot there, considering that's a Pokemon that's going to be used. At the moment, I don't think it's that great, personally.
It really only hits Primarina because Pyro Ball's already killing Cloud.
Acrobatics 2 KOs it, by the way, just letting you know.
Yes.
But yeah, like, this mon, it's just crazy, like expecting it, because the bulk, like I've lost to bulk up, Zen headbutt, sucker punch, high jump kick. Like there was no Pyro Ball. I was trying to outplay the Pyro Ball, and I went into my Age Slash. Well, I mean, I was trying to outplay a few things, and I ended up getting Age Slash in on a Zen headbutt, and I ended up dying to a sucker punch because of the prior damage. I was like, okay, maybe this guy doesn't have anything to do with it. And before I knew that, like Tyranitar walled it. So Cinderace is definitely a very unpredictable Pokemon, and it's a very good Pokemon right now. You definitely should use it. It's my favorite of the 3 starters with their hidden abilities. And yeah, anything else to add, bro?
Definitely try this guy out and keep trying it out once DLC is released, because it's going to keep changing with the metagame, and I think that adaptability is one of the best features of it. So yeah, I'm really interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Check out Finch. His link will be down below. You can check out the OG Drop a Draco merch if you want to, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.